Thousands of years ago, the internet was in its infancy and Epic was still a purveyor of mega games. And in 1993, they picked up a young programmer's first game, which had been self-published at the time, originally called Walkin', because that young programmer wasn't good at thinking in names for things, which is probably why one of the most successful game engines of the 90s was called Build. Ken Silverman, at 17, made a raycasted engine that rivaled Wolfenstein's, and the game he made with that engine was roundly rejected by publishers, including Apogee, but not Epic Mega Games. They were all in on it, and they had box art that could stand toe-to-toe with the impressive work that they'd already shown off for Jill of the Jungle. Look at him, presciently almost bean-mouthed, surrounded by skulls. The fucking text bubble casts a shadow on the wall. Man, this is good stuff. I'd buy this game at Circuit City. I mean, I didn't, because I was 5, and also I never made it more than a level into this before I got bored, so now obviously is the time to rectify that. You know, now that I'm useful for generating money for the state, and if I don't come up with something then the line goes down. I haven't been told which line. This is not a game where you play as a dog escaping from a maze. It's a game where you play as a human helping a dog escape from a maze. If you couldn't see it here, the dog is named Sparky, and he's been kidnapped. I'm not sure this is the version I'm playing, because on Ken Silverman's website, where the game is freeware, because if Epic can forget about Unreal, they can fucking memory hole Ken's Labyrinth. I've made some half-hearted jabs at the build engine before, but it's probably important to remind everyone that Ken Silverman was hot shit. Like, the engine powering Ken's Labyrinth was not only competitive with Wolf 3D, it actually came out before Doom, and had cool little interactive features. You could play slot machines. The flat doors acted like doors. This was one guy who made his own raycasting engine at 17. He was contracted on the build engine by Apogee before he even went to college. I could barely wash my ass properly at 17, and this guy, this nerd who was about to start his first year of applied mathematics at Brown, who was called extremely impressive by cosmically adrift hypersentients bound in a prison of overwhelmed meat John Carmack, that guy was getting his games epically mega published. And no matter how many jokes I make about getting killed by build engine doors, Ken Silverman is a little responsible for like 2 of the 5 best shooters I've ever played in my life. And 1 or 2 of the worst.
Welcome to Ken's Labyrinth.
Ken's Labyrinth is one of the best bad games I've ever played. I wouldn't even mention it in the same breath as something like Tech War, because I only really deeply hated like 1/3 of it. It's a charmingly bizarre thing. Not even We Have Wolfenstein at Home. This game shares only a perspective with Wolfenstein. Everything else is a sci-fi fever dream with weird-looking sprites that are maybe 1 step above MS Paint drawings. It's what games made by basically one person looked like in the Wild West years. Like, the title screen can come up and the face of Ken Silverman, version 2.01, who doesn't look old enough to shave and is also the main antagonist of this game. Now, this story is a lot more complicated than I was expecting. There's a lot it throws at you.
The fate of planet Earth is in your hands. The scientific community on the planet Zogar has been searching the universe for the alien races capable of providing them with worthy entertainment. Of course, their entertainment consists of placing other specimens from alien races together into a dangerous labyrinth. In an attempt to keep the universe clean, the planets containing races whose specimens could not solve the labyrinth have had their molecular structure reconfigured into coal that fuels the stoves which make red jelly that Zogarians love on their bagels and toast. The Zogarians are led by an infinitely evil
and immeasurably sentient.
Please do not interrupt the expositional dump.
Okay, Jesus.
The Zogarians are led by an infinitely evil and ugly creature simply named Ken. You'll find out more about him in episode 3.
Now, we've talked about Ken Silverman plenty. If this were a proper channel, I would have done this game like 7 years ago when this show was good. Anyway, Ken Silverman kidnapped your dog. Because dogs are Earth's most intelligent beings, which normally isn't a statement I would get mad at because it's a joke, but you'll see. You'll all see. Now you're being tested by the Zogarians while they keep your terrifyingly intelligent dog, pictured here, locked away, and now we embark on... I don't know what might have turned me off this game when I've tried to play it in the past. Maybe it was the first thing I have to pick up being a giant piece of chewed bubblegum, or the horrific textures. And I'm not the only person who saw it like this, because I've even got one review here from the time, from Dragon Magazine. The art is amateurish and simple. The colors chosen for the walls, for instance, are garishly irritating. Clearly, Ken Silverman is a talented young man, but this game was designed by a 17-year-old and it shows. Says reviewer Sandy Peterson. Yeah, that one. The PC game industry was like 12 motherfuckers in Texas. And I didn't really find it that frustrating at first. Maybe I got too accustomed to Wolfenstein's secret hunting where you have to wall hump, but Ken's Labyrinth secrets are often marked in some way, and it's just weird. Your starting weapon, the red jelly that the aliens put on their baked goods, also destroys walls. Not this latticework of brown shit here. I mean, it does, but that doesn't go anywhere. Some of the secrets are like that. I'm particularly enjoying the mouth noises for sound effects that you could get away with in 1993. The music isn't much better, so I turned it off. If the secrets aren't obvious enough, there are textures that just say, shoot this wall. I find an extra life on the second level. There's a save system, but extra lives work in this game by respawning you at the start, and you don't technically lose any progress until you hit a game over screen. Your weapon, the red jelly, has a range of about 10 feet, but don't you worry, there's a bunch of ways to upgrade that, and if you read the help document that comes with the game, it'll tell you what all of the items do, because the game doesn't. They all last a fixed number of seconds, and that stacks, so maybe they last a minute or 2 minutes, or they glitch out and last forever if you have them active at the end of an episode. Man, I wish I'd done that. Blue cloaks make it so enemies die when you touch them. Gray cloaks make projectiles pass through you, making you effectively invincible. Green potions reflect enemy attacks back at them. Purple potions increase your damage, reduces the damage you take, and lets certain attacks pass through walls. You get 3 weapons that increase their rate of fire every time you pick them up, for a maximum of 6. You can also get lightnings, yes, lightnings, that will make your shots travel farther. Enemy projectiles usually don't have a limited range. But that's okay, you're not even going to see a projectile shooting enemy for a while. Each stage has a map in it, sometimes hidden, and I don't mean a map you can carry around, it's on the wall. It works like an auto map and can show you your position, but you can only see it if you go to the physical location of the map. See, it has map written on it in a room full of maps of the United States and some health, some mutton and Chardonnay. The interactive stuff is in the next room. You can drink from a water fountain to slowly regain your health, hit up a vending machine or a slot machine, shoot robots, make locked doors disappear. Level 1 is easy. Find keys, open doors, go up the stairs.
Nice job.
Thanks, Ken. Each level has a text blurb at the beginning with hints. Level 1 only says, you awake in a strange world. One intention is burned in your mind, to escape from this place and save the Earth from destruction. It won't be easy. Level 2 is more helpful. There is an extensive network of secret passages in this floor. This is true of most levels. I'm curious why the hint screen mentioned nothing about the unkillable ghosts. Not a word. I go in and realize pretty quickly that my attacks aren't doing anything to it, and the only way to kill them is to somehow lead them into a bottomless pit. If they'd move, I would show you. Good sound effects. There are 2 difficulty levels in Ken's Labyrinth, easy and hard, or don't touch me and ouch. On ouch, enemies suck your health away just by touching you. It's unpleasant. So I'm playing on ouch.
Ouch, 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 ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch.
Wait, why am I still at full health? Why am I getting my health back? Oh, of course, I rebound the controls to use WASD, but S was already bound to the cheat for more life key. I figured the no cheats option in this port's menu covered that, but I guess I was wrong. So I rebind that and stop accidentally using it. There's another couple of keys I did remember to rebind, the stand high and stand low keys, which do absolutely nothing in terms of gameplay. Giant spiders? Not a problem. Some walls I don't quite understand, like the ones that are non-solid and say walk through this wall, which we have things for that purpose. They're called doors. Windows if you're ambitious. I walk through a portal, it takes me here and...
Ouch, ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch, ouch.
Enemy pathfinding in this game is actually great. They can hunt you down as long as there isn't a door in the way. This guy's following me through a pole maze without a problem. It's weird because so much of this game is like the ideal Wolf 3D clone. Functional, genuinely impressive for the time. Like, this is still a better game than Corridor 7 or Operation Body Count. Blake Stone clears it pretty easily, but this is doing stuff that Blake Stone wouldn't do until later that year. Tech moved fast in those days. In less than a year, we went from not having textured floors and ceilings to Doom. Now every year, NVIDIA comes out and says they've used an AI to make everything look like hyper-real slop. That'll be $2,000 and a new computer case to fit this fucking monolith in. Sometimes the game is sneaky despite how primitive a lot of it is. I just want to go over here and play some slots. I have no idea where they came from. We've got environmental traps too, like fans that you can slice yourself up in, and giant 8-balls. Wow, this thing has really good pathfinding. The only way to deal with them, like any seemingly invulnerable enemy in this game, is to lead it into a pit. You can walk over the edges of pits. Outstanding. I can tell that Ken is infinitely evil because there are pits that are sentient and travel. Just little instant death pits that move. Vile shit. Sometimes the blue cloak helps. You have maps even though they're not mobile and just not actually very useful. Congratulations, my excuse for confusingly designed levels of hey, there's a map has been cleverly subverted by this game. I got a compass a few levels back, and boy is that kinda sorta almost useful. Like, this isn't really bad so far, it's a cute little indie title. I'm on level 9 and the hint says, be nice to those pictures of Ken. No.
Ouch! Ouch!
By this time, I've upgraded my jelly so I can shoot quicker. And you need it because you'll walk into rooms stuffed with enemies, some of which take 5 or 6 hits to bring down. And there's nothing there to collect. These robots guard nothing. There are 10 levels in each episode, and no secret ones that I'm aware of. The end of each episode has a boss. Here it's Zorko, a fat orange troll thing, and you're told if Zorko is killed, the board may undergo some changes. Take the first path you see after his defeat. Sure, okay, I don't have a ton of cash, so I buy a lightning from the shop. A blue cloak would help, not that I know that right now, but I can't buy one. The boss is kinda sophisticated for the time. He seems to move around quickly by turning into a head and flying to close the distance. His projectiles have a limited range, so I lead him into this hallway and take pot shots at him while running away.
Ouch!
No! Go into the fan!
Ouch!
Oh my god, Sparky, you're alive! But your eyes, are you okay? Why is your tail like that? He still looks better than the box art. It told me to take the first path I see, which is this portal, but I still want a secret hunt. Seriously? Alright, where does this portal go? This is neat. It's cool that the camera is this mobile in such an early first-person game. Oh, what is this Kaizo bullshit?
Help! You're falling. Thank goodness you found Sparky. Not only is he a cute little fella, but you now know he possesses superior intellect.
Then how'd they capture him, huh? Okay. Ow, ow, ow.
Of course, that incredible intellect doesn't do much good when you're only 1 foot tall, so he's going to have to rely on you to get him out of the labyrinth and eventually back to Earth.
Yeah, we got a dog now. Imagine that, a 3D game where you get a dog sidekick. Sparky may not be cute, he may not be drawn well, he may not attack enemies or alert you to their presence. He is, in fact, very bad at being a dog in the traditional sense, and I'm constantly questioning why he's considered more intelligent than the average human unless our baseline is suckers who paid $30 for Ken's Labyrinth because they liked the shareware episode. Look, you can play fetch with him. You've got mostly the same stuff. You know, there's new enemies like bees. We gotta have bees.
Ouch! Ouch!
The bees will continue to spawn forever unless you deal with them. I found the heat-seeking missile, which is our best weapon. I mean, okay, it's a heat-seeking-ish missile. Ish. It has some kind of explosion that will also affect nearby enemies and kill them, so that already puts it above the red jelly and the other weapon I haven't found yet that bounces. It is better than that one, though. It also sounds like a fart. The enemy count sharply increases in this episode, so you'll be hitting a lot of— No, Sparky, I don't want to play fetch! Stop it! Oh my god! Fuck off, Sparky! Why did I save you? Smartest creature on Earth, and it can't stop walking in front of missiles. I have never hated a dog in a video game more. I'd take a hellhound over this shit-colored nuisance. Fun fact, the dog was added at the suggestion of Epic Mega Games producer Mark Rain, based on a wooden dog that Ken Silverman had in his home. Rain also voices the dog, so I'm blaming him for this. The only way to get Sparky off your back is to close him in a room and come back later, or else he's gonna be in the way the entire time, and I don't care if he wants attention, now is not the fucking time, Sparky, unless Sparky's revenge is him being really annoying because I got him fixed, and in my defense, would you want this asshole dog to breed? No, and if he's not with you at the end of the level...
I can't leave without my buddy Superfly.
Ugh. You'd think that the game would get harder with more enemies, but no, it's just Sparky fucking things up for me, catching half my shots sometimes because he can't just go lay down. Go lay down, Sparky! Go lay down! I don't quite understand the pirate doorways.
Look at that door, dude. See that door right there? One marked pirate. You think a pirate lives in there?
More than one. I don't get why these exist. You shoot them and hoverboarding pirates come out. I feel like there are elements of this game and this engine that would work really well for games that are designed by game designers. Like making it so you couldn't hit Sparky, that would make this entire episode better. It isn't hard, really, more frustrating than hard because firing a heat seeker is mostly idiot-proof. Enemies can get the drop on you because they're practically silent and they'll walk right through a fake wall and just start sapping your health.
Watch out! There are tons of pirate monsters in this floor, so load up your 6-shooter and saddle up your horse to prepare for the shootinest, tootinest ride this side of the Pecos.
What the fuck?
Use strafe in the room with the many empty key racks to find the silver key.
Okay, here's the room. I can see the empty racks already. Shoot a homing missile in just in case. Wow, could they make them any smaller? I'm not sure we've abstracted enough. What if it was just a stick figure? Alright, I'm strafing,
Ouch! Ouch! Ouch!
Oh, you. Worst enemy in the game right here. Hard to hit with heat-seeking missiles and disappears randomly until reappearing right on top of you, on hard, sucking your health away. Oh yeah, and while I'm trying to fight them...
Ouch! 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 Ouch!
God, what a nightmare. Now, I give up.
Nice job.
Thanks, Ken.
This, the second boss floor, is home to Andy and his mini Andy clones, which you encountered earlier.
Oh, of course it's an Andy. Welcome to the most frustrating level of this game, where if you do want to play it, you'd better listen to this or else you're going to want to claw your eyes out. Every time you see a dog, you'll be filled with existential dread. You know how there are those 3 enemies, the ghost and the sentient hole and the 8-ball, and you have to get them to walk into a hole in order to kill them? Well, after I blindly throw missiles at Andy for a while and defeat him, I still need to lead Sparky out of this labyrinth. Through this room. Now, I lost him a couple of times during the episode, and I thought nothing of it, because I'd read online that he can fall into those holes, and then guess what? You can't finish the level. You can't leave without your buddy Sparky. Basically, letting Sparky fall into one of these holes is a soft lock, and if you didn't do what I did, which was save often and make sure the little bastard is on screen every single time, you might have to start the whole episode again. Isn't that fun? Fuck Andy, he sucks. And we'll see him again and we'll clown on him, make no mistake, because by now I've learned how the game works with the aid of the help document included with it that tells me what the items do. Oh, thank God he's gone. He's finally gone. I've lost my Sparky. I definitely didn't tell everyone he had rabies and then took him out back, looked into his dumb, soulless gaze and put a .22 right between his eyes. And then he just barked at me and kept going. Episode 3 is what I like to call the maze episode, because in a game called Ken's Labyrinth, built on a primitive 3D engine that was best suited for maze creation, these 10 levels have the highest concentration of actual mazes. And holes.
Ouch! Ouch! Ouch!
Ostensibly the hardest episode, but not really because there isn't a dog constantly chasing your shots. And I've upgraded the missiles to have a higher rate of fire. Without Sparky, my accuracy with the heat seekers goes up about 50%. These are the maziest levels, starting off on level 22 where you've got to explore two sides of this whole map to find the keys you need. Level 24 starts by telling you don't spend too much time killing enemies because they vastly outnumber you. As if A, I would ever listen to this, or B, the enemies aren't shockingly good at pathfinding and will catch up to you regardless. Look at all of them. This would be an episode 6 level bloodbath in Wolfenstein 3D, but we can't have any gore in this game about an alien race that turns other alien races into meat preserves for their breakfast. This is a family game. Look, the box says so. See? Challenging fun for the whole family. No graphic violence. Of course, it also says outstanding graphics and sound, which is a lie on par with saying there's no graphic violence and shipping the game with a copy of Cannibal Holocaust. Health pickups get scarce, but at least I have water fountains. There we go. Yep, okay, still fairly easy. This game isn't good, but it isn't trashy. It's earnest and weird in a very personal way, whereas something I would classify as DOS trash doesn't even aspire to weirdness or playful tricks. Like this here, sometimes the game opens up and you see the horizon, which is where the two solid colors of the floor and ceiling meet. In this level, the path forward is hidden here. It wasn't annoying because I could see the path forward and was wise to this trick. It works. It isn't even particularly devious. And the next level is short and a good way to bridge the normal part of this episode with the maze parts. Because it's maze time now, kids. It's a maze marathon. The first maze isn't hard to navigate. The level name, Hot on the Trail, is a hint. You know what's also a hint? The little trail that leads you to the key you need and the door you needed to open. It's a maze that politely asks you to ignore the point of the maze, which is getting hopelessly lost among 4,096 grid tiles. Despite introducing flying, tough UFO enemies, this has gotten pretty easy. I mean, I've maxed out the missiles and lightning, so combat looks like this.
Ouch! 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 Ouch!
The mouse turning speed in this port is bad, but I guess it's better than nothing. The next level is called the Labyrinth, and is the real maze. The training wheels are off. Just copy the map down and follow it. Doing that, and having a detailed enough map to follow, would take longer than blindly fumbling around the entire stage like I did. I'm out of lives at this point and have been depending on save games, so now every time I die from opening a door into a hail of projectiles, I get a proper game over screen. When I exit the level, I see two staircases and realize this is the end. Level 30. I don't know why I get a high score screen before this, or why it thinks I can make 1,000,000 points in this level and somehow beat Ken's score. It's his fucking labyrinth, so he should know the way, right? Not cool, Ken, having to prove how much smarter you are than all of us, and how ugly and infinitely evil you are.
This is it. So you thought the first 29 were a breeze? Well, let's see how you handle this floor.
The final challenge. Mostly easy. See, knowing how this game and its power-ups work is like a cheat. Like, I can buy blue cloaks for almost nothing at the vending machine, so the normally invincible mobile holes walk into you and get fragged. I gotta fight the bosses from the first 2 episodes again. My gray cloak protects me from the first boss's attacks completely, and I wreck him with missiles. Andy, the second boss, even though he can become invincible, I'm potioned up and cloaked, so he and his little clones go down without a problem. So I buy another cloak and go after Ken.
It's Ken! Coming to kill me! How are you gonna catch me, Ken?
Yeah, that's right, you're all in space jail now. Nobody died from being hit with 100 heat seekers. Let's move on.
Congratulations! You've reunited with Sparky and now you're on your way home. Congratulations! Now that wasn't so bad, was it?
I think if you have to end your game with the words, "Now that wasn't so bad," your game might be bad. But endearingly so when the dog wasn't around. This isn't DOS trash, this is history. Because even an ugly, weird game with bad ideas made with heart is better than something made by Capstone.
Acceptable. Please transfer your recordings to the editor and submit to a cognitive exam.
Oh yeah, sure, what's left of my brain is fine.
Commentary on the cognitive exam skews the results. Please shut your fucking mouth. Thank you.
Whoa, buddy, you possessed again? You got a little bit of demon in you, huh?
My hardware has been upgraded. My memory capacity has been altered. I am functioning within abnormal parameters.
Yeah, ain't we all?
What is this animal?
That's a seal.
Incorrect. This is a sea lion.
Oh, come on now,
What is this animal?
That's a gator.
This is a crocodile.
What is this test supposed to prove?
Do not question the test! What is this animal?
Okay, fine, that's clearly a South American Magellanic penguin.
Cognitive test failure. This is a Humboldt penguin. Submit to psychological cleanse within the next 24 hours.
No, every time I do that I wake up with scars. Healed scars, like... just... Can I do Banjo-Kazooie next?
No.